happy afternoon, one and all present here. So it's a great afternoon once again to explore one more person's 1.0. So here comes a person who's with a lot of passion to grow in her life. The willingness to learn and explore herself is the ultimate aim for her. Though she has completed her BE and she didn't get an opportunity to work, but after marriage, after delivery of 2 children, now she started putting a lot of effort to grow in her life. So unbeatable performance. In fact, entrepreneur for the 2 organization, a very supporting wife, and also a parent of 2 beautiful children. I'm calling on Mrs. Sindhu Dinesh to present her 1.0. Sindhu, I'm very happy to invite you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bhupalan, sir, for the wonderful introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sindhu Dinesh. I'm very privileged to welcome one and all of you for my self-discovery 1.0. So, I take this as a privileged start, my first step with MiDNA. And my first step itself is mind mapping and brain profiling. So here, I like to start with saying, your mind is in every cell of your body. So revealing your mind and revealing oneself is quite similar. And thanks to genetic brain profiling for giving me this opportunity in revealing myself very well. One minute, sir. So this is me, Sindhu Dinesh. My native is Tiruchirappalli. I have completed my electronics and communication engineering. I got placed in HCL Technologies at my campus interview. After that, I was quite married early and because of my family's decision. And after that, I came to Salem. And here, my husband was taking care of a matriculation higher secondary school. I actually entered the school being a pre-primary teacher. And then at the second step, I became a primary and secondary teacher. And after that, I took in the post of an assistant director. So I was assisting my husband in his role also. And I also introduced many new concepts and ideas in schools. And I was more interested into counseling also. I got into personal counseling of 11th and 12th standard kids, where I actually counseled them very well for their exams. I motivated them. Since our school is located in a remote place, those students were like, they go back after school, they go back for work. They are not fully supported by their families. So I just gave the support needed. And those students actually scored very well in their 12th, one of the highest mark for the past 15 years. So that was added to my credit, being a director and a counselor. After that, I have to start my own preschool, that is Mulberry Kids International Preschool. That was also a very good hit. It was a joint project again of me and my husband. So Mulberry Kids, the second year itself, we got around 70 students, which is a great effort from our side. But that was in the year 2018-19, the time pandemic struck. And I actually run that school in a rented building. So it was very tough for me to carry it out. And since it is in a remote place also, the students were not able to access online education. So I actually clubbed Mulberry Kids along with the main school. After taking a small break, I got to take up the role, continued my passion into dance. I took up the role of a director of Vidyalayam Kalakshetra. This is a music and dance school. Now it has been 6 months since I've started it, and I hold around 60 to 70 students studying here. And I'm also a proud mother of 2 wonderful boys and a very happy individual. So this is my UID, as it is very clear that I am highly. So you can see my prefrontals are A1, A1, frontals A1, A1. My parietal is A1, R2, temporal A1, A1, and occipital also A1, A1. So I would like to start saying the quote. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So what knowledge is? The applied information is knowledge. What wisdom is? The correct judgments and decisions that we make through our experiences in life. So how can we make those decisions very correctly is when we realize ourselves very well. So I think GBP has given me the life experience which I actually need very much to help myself in becoming wise enough. And this is my processing domains. As you can see, I'm reflective 10% because of the R in my right parietal. I'm 90% affective and 0% cognitive. Being highly affective has its own advantages and disadvantages. I exist only with the world around me. And being reflective also has made me highly obedient and then very obedient and imitative personality. Being 0% cognitive is I should be a little bit more conscious and more thoughtful, losing myself in the world around me. And as you can see, I have only A and R in my UID. My primary, that is only primary processing. I'm 100% emulative. So since I'm not stimulative, I don't have any new ideas. I really cannot create anything of my own. But if I get one idea through any inspiration or just by seeing others getting inspired, I'm able to do excellently well using that idea. So that is what emulative is. So these three places is where I was inspired, motivated, affected, and molded. So my home taught me how to be peace in tough situations, how to become a very disciplined and moral individual. My mom is one example of handling finance and family very well. Since my dad was also into business, she has taught me the best way to handle family and business. She has also taught me how important people and relationships are. And coming to my school has taught me lots of determination. It has given me the strong will, which I essentially need, and has given me confidence. And also in even small things which I do, I learned to gain lots of efficiency in doing any job I'm assigned with. And being an adult, I learned many life values from the Vedic learnings which we have. So I'm into Mayvali. I follow Mayvali, and I have lots of Vedic learnings. It has given me self-realization, a balance in work and life, a balance between mind, body, and soul. So Vedas also play a very important role in my life. So coming to lobe-wise energy and adaptiveness, as you can see, my prefrontal has the highest average energy, with my left prefrontal 56 and right prefrontal 62. Since my prefrontal is of higher energy, I'll be more of an executor, a doer. I'll be a person with good self-realization and usually think futuristic. As the prefrontal is the CEO, since it is high, it is an added advantage for me here. And since my right prefrontal is very high, I usually see very big pictures. If any one problem is attended or any one message I get, I'm able to visualize things in big pictures, and I'm very spontaneous in executing things. I'm quite enthusiastic also. Coming to my frontal, my left frontal is of a higher energy, shows that I'm a person who thinks very logically. When it comes to work, I used to work with an agenda in my hand. A good planning is always there before I execute things. And As you can see, from the right frontal to am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yes, sir. It is 52 to 62. And you can see there is a drastic increase in the energy. So that shows when it comes to family, since right prefrontal deals with family and people handling. So since it is very high, when it comes for family, before I could think I will do it for them. When it comes to work, since it is 56 to 56, from frontal to left frontal to left prefrontal, I will also be able to execute whatever I am planned for my work also. Thirdly, I like to say about second highest energy. You can see my right occipital has a very high energy, comparatively high energy. That is, I'm able to picturize things well. I'm very good at colors, good at spatial skills, and also I'm a very aesthetic person. You can see in my house, there are certain places which look very pleasing to the eyes. I'm able to make things look beautiful by bringing in good color combinations, making it look pleasing. And coming to the temporal, which is also quite low for me, it is 51 to 49. My left temporal is 51, right temporal is 49. So what I receive is my right temporal, or through my right temporal, the receiving energy is quite low, but what I give out through my speaking is quite high. So from here, I interpret that I can quite articulate and manipulate things and go out very well. So that is with my temporal, and my parietal here is the lowest. You can see my right parietal has the least energy, shows I'm very lazy with my body movements, my bodily memories also, and my gross motor in general. I'm also not very good at sensory integrations. Though I run my Kalakshetra, I always have a teacher appointed to teach Bharatanatyam. I'm more interested in business. Only at certain times, continuing my passion, I do take classes. Shows my body energy is low, and I'm also a little bit lazy. My parietal left has a good energy. I'm very good at fine motors. I have very beautiful handwriting. If I see certain things, I'm able to using tool controls, using pencils and paints, I'm able to bring the same picture back to life. So this is from my low bias energy and adaptiveness. Being an effective person, I'm more focused on values, motivations, attitudes, stereotypes, and feelings. Motivation has affected me a lot in my childhood days. When a teacher gives me a tap, you can do well, then I want to convert it into lots of claps from my class students. Those claps has motivated me again to get certificates and lots of awards. And again, that in turn motivated me to be in beautiful designations in school itself, being certain ministers. So all that motivation played a very big role for me. The attitudes in which certain things are conveyed to me also matters a lot. The stereotypes in which certain people are projected, if they are projected bad to me, I do believe they are bad. When I was child, well, in my childhood days, but now we are able to think deeply. And my feelings also, I'm quite a person of high feelings. If I see someone crying, I usually start crying. Even watching small movies, I get affected. So all these things shows that I'm a highly affective person. So I like to say the quote, it is easy to be motivated when everything is going well. The goal is to stay disciplined when things get tough. So during our childhood days, we are in a very safe and secured environment, nurtured well. So it was easy to be motivated at that time for me. But when we are entering this world, right to face it by our own self, it is this discipline, which I have learned through my experience, has helped me to achieve good heights. This is a effective personality characterization So how my character is formed is I receive things from the world around me. That is the ability to learn from others. So if a friend is saying something to me, I'm open to her. I will be able to receive, not only friend, any person, and then I'm able to respond. A respond is the ability to participate responsibly, respectfully, and actively as appropriate to the context to the context that is conveyed to us. Valuing is understanding the importance of the context. That is I can value it based on my personal values. I'm going to compare and understand its importance, and then I'm going to organize it. I'm going to separate, these are my personal value system and these are others' personal value system. I'm able to organize, and then bringing it, internalizing it is the characterizing part. That is, if that context is of any use to me, I'm going to articulate that into my own value system, and then that is going to be one of my characters. So this is how affective personality is characterized. As you can see from my UID, I am emulative learner, as well as in my right parietal, I'm an imitative learner. So these two, I like to compare these two learning. So in imitative learning is what a child does when during his childhood days, what a child learns, how a child learns is imitative learning. I would like to go with an example, plucking a fruit from a tree. If a model or a person is going to pluck a fruit from a tree, by jumping 3 times, in imitative learning, the person who sees the model will also internalize the goal of the role model. That is, it is also going to pluck the fruit. And here, the results alone will be copied, but not the behavior. It might not, in emulative learning, we might not jump 3 times. Instead, we might manipulate the actions. Here, in imitative, we directly copy actions, behaviors, and strategies. The person is going to jump 3 times and pluck a fruit. We are also going to jump 3 times and pluck. Here, I might use a plucker here. I'm going to manipulate the object here. And but finally, I'm going to do the goal of plucking the fruit. But here, I have manipulated it. And also here, in imitative learning, we engage in theory of mind. In emulative, we do not engage in theory of mind. So this is how it differentiates. So in my right parietal, I am an imitative learner. In all the other lobes, I'm an emulative learner. So this theory of mind, I would like to explain through a small video clipping. The video starts from the very first, very few seconds, it gives us information. So all of you kindly lend the ears.
When you play hide and seek with your kiddo, have you ever noticed how they will cover their own eyes and think that makes them invisible? What about when you ask your child to pick out a gift for a parent or sibling, and they choose a toy that they'd like to receive themselves instead of something the other person would want? If your child is around the ages of 2 to 3, you may have noticed any or all of these behaviors. Believe it or not, all of this is expected developmentally. But why? Because these young kids do not yet have a firm theory of mind. Having a firm theory of mind means you understand that other people's thoughts and feelings are separate and different from your own. Early research about theory of mind suggests that kids develop this understanding around the ages of 4 or 5. But new research indicates that kids as young as 18 months can display a theory of mind through their nonverbal actions and communications. An 18-month-old isn't aware of this, of course, but the older they get, the more conscious their intentions will become. Older children might ask, either in their own head, how will the teacher react when they find out what I just did? Or will my mom get mad at me for taking a cookie without asking first? The ability to imagine other people's actions and reactions based on past experience gets more sophisticated as we get older and more experienced in our relationships. What can we as parents do with this information? First, we can laugh. When we understand our kids' brains better, we can find more humor as opposed to frustration in their behaviors, even when those behaviors seem selfish or self-serving. We can judge them less too. But of course, we ultimately want them to become compassionate people. So, we can coach our kiddos through tough situations with empathy and help them consider how other people might react to the things they do. If your child has yet to develop a firm theory of mind, they will typically be unable to practice these behaviors consistently or independently until at least 4 or 5 years of age. Even older children need support in considering others' needs and feelings, but showing them these skills early will set your little ones up for future success. This video is brought to you by the folks at Hello Joey.
So that was about theory of mind, the basic understanding which humans develop. So here is an more deeper knowledge about emulative. They are intelligent problem solvers. So there was this is an example like in a park, the model was using a rake with a teeth down position to drag the objects. And a child who is an imitative learner also followed the same way. He also used the rake in a teeth down position and did the same actions like the model. But on contrary, when a chimpanzee was tested, chimpanzee is an example for very high emulative learner. So how it used the rake was, it used the rake. So, but the result was more objects were dragged with the teeth up position, the way in which the chimpanzee has used it. So emulative learning can be a very clever and creative form of learning. So it only focuses on events that happen around the model rather than what the model intends to accomplish. Emulative learners try to figure things out for themselves once they get an idea by observing things. So how emulative learning, they carry out things, it does not apply for cultural informations to accumulate. They does not copy habits and certain cultural customs, they would not copy. So this is emulative learning, and it is an intelligent problem solving way of learning. So there is an R2 in my right parietal. So these pictures prove that being imitative in my right parietal with my bodily movements has made me into a very brave person indeed. In my school, I was able to carry out very big tasks, which was very challenging also. I started imitating my tutor, his bodily movements. I copied. I simply followed instructions. I didn't process it on my own. I simply followed instructions, and I was able to do very well in sports, gymnastics. And I also learned Bharatanatyam in Kalai Kaveri, Trichurapalli. So all these are the proof that R2 has made me grow brave. Being a girl, I was able to do all these things very successfully with my body because of this R2. And then when you see the box down there, it shows my sensory learning, whether it is sensory or intuitive. It shows that I'm an intuitive learner. I usually learn things by connecting with an internal connectivity. I do perceive and associate with my own memory itself. And I'm a person who likes to learn internally rather than standing up and asking doubts in classes, going to the teacher, reading from a book, not using sensory learning. But I'm more of an internal learner. And as you can see in my sensory learning, my visual learning is very high. I have shared a way how I used to learn in my childhood. When I was around 8th standard, I used this methodology. I usually used to have a pencil while learning. Since there are lots of points in learning, nutrient, you can see I've given an example of a question, functions of blood. Here, there are 8 points. I've depicted the picture using the keywords from the point. So nutrient function, when nutrients comes to mind, usually high nutrition, nutrient factors, high, an apple comes to our mind, I drew an apple. Then transportation, we have 2 points, transportation of gases and hormones and enzymes. So transportation, I drew 2 wheels below the apple. And since transporting gases, I used to have dots put inside those circles, showing that it is gas molecules. And then hormones and enzymes also transportation. So I put a H and E. And then excretory function is, so learning things in a humorous way also helps us to keep it in our mind. So I put excretory function also. And then there are 3 regulatory functions. Acid-base balance I've given, since acid is corrosive, and to show regulation, I've given that axe symbol like. So it is acid-base balance. Water is usually depicted like this. So water balance and body temperature. So I've given it as degree Fahrenheit. And finally, storage function. I put everything inside a box, that is storage function. So without now, I just read it once, functions of blood. With just this image in my mind, I'll be able to write 10 and 15 points in my exam without missing even one. So this is how I used to learn. So that is visual learning. So my visual learning is 35.57, very high. So the average value is 33.33 and my visual learning is 35.57, which is high. So this method I have rolled it out by my own effort by around 8th or 9th standard. If GBP was there, it is going to be an added advantage. I could have used this my early ages also. My auditory learning is also quite good. Even if I listen well in class, if I go practice once at home, it is quite easy. My kinesthetics, using my bodily movements, how I learn is quite less here. Coming to the genetic memory and adaptiveness, as you can see, my working memory is very high. Your working memory is, the average is 33.33. My working memory is high, shows that I'm able to remember and process information at the same time. For example, when a story is told to me, if there are very many sequence of events in a story, still I will be able to understand the story well. So that is how a working memory works. And semantic memory is semantic and episodic memory will contribute for the long-term memory. Semantic memory is the general knowledge, the facts which we have, like brain has 90 billion, all these facts is stored in semantic memory. And episodic memory is where we keep many episodes in mind, like buying a new pet to your house, or even when tsunami occurs, what were you doing when a tsunami occurs? So all these example comes for episodic memory. And body, echoic and iconic memory together contributes for sensory memory. So these are related to senses. And as you can see, my semantic memory also is quite good. I was able to remember many facts, general facts, and years, everything, birthdays and all very well. So as my long-term memory is also quite good, I'm able to call back my childhood days, whatever I did. My sensory memory related to my 5 senses and my body is also quite low here. Coming to the whole brain, my left brain is intuitive is 26.12 and my right brain intuitive is 26.63%. So on my right brain, I'm highly an intuitive person. So I just feel for people, I think emotionally when that is high. Here I would like to give an example of a teacher applying for a leave to me. Here I will be concerned that she is not feeling well. I feel sad for her. In my intuitive brain and my right brain, I do feel all this. But coming to sensorial aspect, my left brain sensory is high. It is 24.72 compared to my right brain sensory. So my actions may not be the way I feel for her. My actions, the way I speak, might have a change, and I might think that maybe she is lying. I just want the one. So all these things will come when I speak it out. So there is a slight crossover here. There is a small internal disturbance for me, since my thought is more of people-centric. So there is a conflict of thought and action here. So this is my whole brain activity. And then coming to the subjects and subject preferences, you can see my potential in biology, maths and biology is quite high. My interest is also high there. In my 12th standard, in my 11th standard, the stream which I chose was maths biology, the first group. So I actually did very well. I scored 90% and above. Since biology and maths is quite high in my college majors also, You can see my biological sciences and all that is high. Shows that if since biology is high when compared to science, I would have been very good if I have chosen a stream like biotechnology, bio research, all that would have been very good. Since maths is the highest for me, engineering has also turned out to be very successful stream for me. So I did engineering actually. And then my coming to my thinking orientations, as you can see, my abstract random is very high. So abstract random persons, those person who think are very good when they are in a group, they discuss and learn very well. So, and also we are able to face situations even when we are unprepared. There is a competition in one of our interviews. There was one level, just a minute, they give us one topic where it should be a random, they will give us a random topic and we have to talk for 2 to 3 minutes on it. And I really will do well, and I did well for my interviews. So that is mainly because of this abstract random thinking. And also I'm affected by the world of feelings and emotions around me. So that is abstract random. And as you can see, the speed, my sequential thinking is normal. So the way I plan and execute things are normal, but my random thinking is quite high. So random thinking is when you are able to get information from chunks which are not orderly in your mind. So you might skip steps in when you are fast, but you can get the desired result. So I usually think life to be very impulsive rather than planned because of my random thinking is fast. And coming to dominance and N by L speed, it is very obvious. I've got 51.1 in my left brain, 48.8 in my right brain, shows that I'm left brain dominant. And this lag in right brain is due to my low energy in my right parietal. So I'm more of a person who thinks logically, planning more of a work. And since I'm a left brainer, and as you can see, the N by L speed is the speed at which your brain processes the information, the transmission of information, or the speed at which the neurons travel. So here, the neocortex and the limbic brain, these two brains are being divided, and the ratio is got. Since you can see, my energies in all my left lobes are very normal. So my prefrontal and occipital divided my frontal and the temporal energies in my left has given me one. My processing in my left side, the way I process and think things based on my work, my planning, everything is normal. My right brain processing is fast. You can see from the below box, my frontal thoughts in my right side, the energy is 52, but in my prefrontal, it is 62. So you can see it is quite fast. Before I could think I'll be doing that for my family or for people. So shows that my right brain processing is fast also indeed. And that is all for this slide. And talking about my multiple intelligence, my picture smart is very high. So being a person with high picture smart, I will be a very good or resourceful problem solver. I'll be a visionary leader. I usually see things as big pictures. Even when a story is told to me, I usually see it as beautiful pictures in my mind. So I'll be highly perceptive also. The second is my people smart and cosmic smart are high. Since people smart is high, I have amazing intrapersonal skills. I'll be a very good leader since my right prefrontal energy is also high. And for me, since my self smartness is quite less than the people smartness, I should be less inclusive and suffer. So I should not take people's problems as my problems and sympathize. All that should not be there. And my body smartness is also a little bit low. So body coordinations will be less not much into sports or stage type, but because of the R, imitative learning in my right parietal, I actually did very well in sports in my childhood days. And then that's it here. Since my coming to adult genetic quotients, you can see my creativity quotient is very high. The way I designed this picture also reveals my creativeness. So you can see the first box shows that I'm a creative person. The second box here shows that I get lots of new ideas. I'm an out-of-box thinker. I'm a very good problem solver also. The second box shows I'm a very self-confident person whose EQ is high. They are very self-confident. We also observe things with lots of interest. I'm an keen observer. I'm mostly intuitive person, and I am also a natural influencer. So that is creativity quotient being very high for me. And also SQ is the second highest. You can see from here, SQ is the second highest. SQ is the spirituality quotient. So I would like to say the same. You think of yourselves as humans searching for a spiritual awakening, when in fact you are spiritual beings attempting to cope with a human awakening. Seeing yourselves from the perspective of the spirit within will help you to remember why you came here and what you came here to do. So we are spiritual beings who believe in that, have confidence in our spirit and soul. And the purpose, when we come to know the purpose of living, life seems to be easy for us. So since my SQ is high, I'm quite well self-aware and mindful person. SQ is the mother of all the quotients. And I will be selfless and inspiring. I usually think beyond my body. I'm not very materialistic. So that is what spirituality quotient is. And since my picture smart, self smart, and cosmic smart are high, I am an introspective person. So introspective person is, I will be able to design well since my picture smart is high. I will be able to evaluate well since my self smart is well. With the design, I can able to evaluate with myself. And since my spiritual is high, I can put things into context. I can contextualize things. Since I'm introspective, I see things inside my head more than out. I usually see things as beautiful pictures. I will have good visualization. I will be morally good. I'm a person who learns by himself, by connecting the information which I have in my sensory systems. So that makes me an introspective person here. And coming to my DISC model, you can see D is dominance and I influence as steadiness and compliance. My influence is very high. My influence, the strength in my influence is very high, highest of all. So I'm a person who likes to influence people, but as you can see, my adaptiveness is also very high. I also get, there are chances that I also get to be influenced by seeing others. So my second highest is the dominance and compliance, which are equally good. And as you can, I will talk about influence in the next slide. Coming to the career preferences, my focus is on goal and performance. That is very high comparing to the process. So I want the task to be completed no matter what the process is. I should concentrate more on the process. I should plan things and execute the process well. I should be more thoughtful in the process, since my goal and performances are very high. So any work is assigned, I'm able to do it very fast. And coming to my work, my task and technology and people are quite balanced. So that makes me handle people and my work pressures very well. And the environment shows that I'm more of an indoor person. That is, I'm very comfortable in my workspace more than going out and more than trips and tours. I'm not a person like that. I'm more contented, a person who feels very happy with our family, with the workplace, in the office desk, etc. And then coming to influencer, I would be very lively, optimistic, and outgoing person. I'll be very enthusiastic and high spirited. So being an influencer, my fear will be a fear of rejection. What will happen if I'm going to come out, and what will happen if I am rejected? So that will be the fear of an influencer. And my blind spot, that is my weakness, will be following through commitments. That is where I'm quite weak. So those are the places I have to concentrate being an influencer. If any commitments is given by me, I should also follow up whether it is going on well. So that should be there. And the disc subtraits. So as you can see, this persistence and sensitivity, those are calculated from the compliance and the steadiness. If your steadiness is high, your persistence will be high. If your compliance is high, your sensitivity will be high. So it is S by C and C by S. So these are, if we work on one, the other will automatically balance. So that is how it is designed. So the first interpretation of, there is some problems I face on my work routine. I usually get irritated. So that affects my persistence also. So that has to be balanced. You can see I'm a person of very high self-confidence, and that makes me less thoughtful. And I'm quite well self-motivated and patient also. Since my cooperative and independence is equal, I am able to handle my family life very peacefully. That is, I also feel I take the space needed for me. I also cooperative with my husband and my family. That is also one of the important aspects for a work atmosphere. My friendliness is very high. My efficiency is quite little bit low. So I should be very lessen on my friendliness a little and concentrate more on efficient work. Since my enthusiasm is very high, my accuracy is little bit low. So talk to yourself at least once in a day. Otherwise, you may miss meeting an excellent person in this world. So in order to bring in the balance here, what we have to do is concentrate on our weaknesses and keep talking and motivating ourselves to bring in the balance needed. So this is my career domain preference. That is my RIASEC model. So it shows that, and you can see my multitasking potential is good. So I will be able to handle 2 departments. Here, multitasking, we are not talking about bodily potential. It is about the cognitive ability. How many tasks I will be able to carry out well with my mind. For example, sales, doing the sales, finance, and marketing. That is the work of a CEO. So that depends on the multitasking. So since it is good, I'll be able to handle at least 2 departments. And you can see my enterprising is high. I am into business right now, and that has been a very successful thing here. I am a very good persuader. I would like to improve my business more and more. I'll find out what are the ways to improve myself. I can make people contribute well. I can extract work from people very well. And I also focus on the experience which I gain. And then secondly, my realistic is high. I am a very practical and genuine person. I also always have very concrete approach to problems. And I like to work with touch and feel. I like to work using tools, all that is there. And coming to my strengths, my development is very high. Development in the sense how we build and operate. Like since I am into business and my development is high, I think I can do a very successful business, since I will find out ways of building my work atmosphere, building things, operating on that. I like new activities to be done in promoting my business. So for me, I'm very good at doing business. And if I'm not into business, I would be suited well for a private company job, not a government job type of person. So I need to find lots of development in the work. Then my management is also good. 33.33 is the average. So that is there. So even if I'm going to take one task at a time and perform it, I will be performing it very well. My managerial skills are good. I will plan and execute things. I can design what and when to do, how it has to be done successfully. I have managerial skills. My skills is 30. Skills is related to your physical work, the fine and gross motor, all that comes here. Since my body energy also is less, and you can see my skills coming along with the right parietal here is quite weak here for me. And coming to the harmony index. Harmony index out of 100, it is 97.15 for me. It shows that how peaceful are we with ourselves. So with person with high harmony index will be a very good parent in their life. So I think I am one. I do parent my kids very well. I have learned it. Yes, I have learned it and acquired it from my parents. And then it also, it is, there is a, out of 100, it is 97. I told you there when with my whole brain activity, that there is a slight disturbance because of my right brain intuitive and left brain sensory, right? So, for example, with my father itself, I love him so much. I am more, I have lots of love, lots of care for my father in my mind. But when it comes to work for doing for him, actually, he is the person who does more for me even now. So that is where I'm lagging. So that actually has an impact in me. It is quite disturbing me. So that is where my peace factor is affected. And the entrepreneur suitability index is 60.85 is good. 60 to 80 will make you a very successful business person. So I have a good risk-taking ability. And this is something, this index is something related to your wealth, how well in business. So since my enterprising is also high, I'm a very good at taking managerial roles. I'm not a person of taking in subordinate roles. So this is some of my pictures. I worked as a personal counselor. The first picture is when I worked as a personal counselor for higher secondary students. It was a metric school. And below that is my Mulberry Kids. It was just 1.5 years I ran that school. It was a very massive success, but I was not able to continue because of, the plight of schools at the time of pandemic. That to running a school in a remote area, we faced many problems with online studies. People will not have proper mobile phones, so that was there. So actually we merged my Mulberry school along with the main school. And this second the right corner photo is my Kalakshetra photo. This I've started around 6 months back. I have around 60 students who learn Bharatanatyam, Western dance, keyboard, Carnatic singing, all that is there. This is only my Bharatanatyam kids photo. So shows that I'm a very good, successful entrepreneur. What my Riasek model says is highly true, proves me to be a very good entrepreneur. And talking about my specializations based on that Riasek model, shows me since my E, I, and C, that is enterprising, investigative, and you can see enterprising, investigative, and my conventional is very good. So it makes me a very good project leader. Since I'm doing my director role right now, and I will be reporting again to my husband, who's the MD here. So I always felt comfortable in that, and he also guides me well. He's not a person who is very dominant, and he's quite a very good person, very nice person. He helps me out. Without him, I will not be able to do so many things as women. And I don't put down women, but you always need support, right? Your husband is a major support, and I get that here. So I'm here, I'm a very good project leader. I'm very good at sales and marketing. When a small flyer is being designed, my husband usually has me near. I usually give very innovative ideas with sales and marketing to promote our schools. I usually give the key points needed to attract the people. So all that is there. My accounts and auditing also is the third top. So, and my career progress index is normal. So I would like to work in a place. I need progressing, but I always don't expect very fast progress. A normal progress is a more suited place for me. Coming to MGBI, the genetic brain indicators. So MiDNA genetic brain indicators, as you can see, with the energy level, I am more of an introvert. It's 51.12. So I have more energy within small groups, within my team, my workplace. I'll have more energy. I'll give my fullest. When a new team or a new person comes in, or that time I will not be able to project myself full. So that is being more of an introvert. For extroversion, you should have lots of body energy. So I'm an introvert, and mainly through intuitive. I have my own inner self intuition. I have my own understanding using my internal connectivities. I will perceive and associate things within my memory. I'm very strong in doing that. I am also very innovative. Being intuitive has made me a more innovative person. I usually find out what are the possibilities where we can solve things. And also I'm quite futuristic there. My process is converging. Converging is very high. I'll be able to, if you come with lots of problems to me, I can give you one effective solution. I'll be very accurate in that. And I'll be thinking logically, you have to do this for solving so many problems. I can give you one very effective solution for that. And then my decisions are mostly based on my thinking. My thinking is, since I'm a left brainer, it is based on my thinking. I would decide very fairly. I would treat everyone equally. I would depend on the cause and effects that makes my makes my thinking 51.48%. And then coming to the lifestyle, I'm more of a person who is highly perceptive. That is, my perception is 52.67 comparing to my judgment, which is 47. So being perceptive is like I more of open-minded, like I give freedom for others. So that is being very perceptive, and being very perceptive also leads me to postpone things. So that has to be corrected here. I'm not judgmental. My personality here is highly adaptive, 73.8%. I'm very flexible, and my not at all aggressive. Aggressiveness is very less. So I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. So my life, I have to design it with GBP. It has been very easy nowadays. So I know where to put the window, how strong my foundation has to be, where I have to put a door, everything I'm able to decide very strongly right now. And this is a small comparison between my report and my husband's report. This is my UID. You can see I have A1 in prefrontal, A1 in frontal, A1R2 in parietal, A1 in temporal, A1 in occipital. My husband has a D2, D3 in prefrontal, A1 and X1 in frontal, A1 in parietal, A1, A2 in temporal, and A1 in occipital. So there is an X in his right frontal. That shows that he is a person quite detached, not much of feeling, not much of family oriented. So at times it was there, but now with beautiful understanding, he is a person who thinks more for the family. And since there is a C3 in his right prefrontal, his actions are very clear with family. The way he plans and do things for the family is very, very effective. I've seen things which he plans and does for the family is wonderful. And since there is a D2 in the left prefrontal, there are some difficulties in deciding what exactly has to be done. Implementation, there will be small doubts. I'm a multidisciplinary learner. He's an accelerated learner. My adaptiveness is 74. His adaptiveness is 40. I am reflective and effective. He's 70% affective and 30% cognitive. He has beautiful ideas. He has wonderful ideas. The way he comes up with ideas, I just imagine where only you get these ideas. I ask those questions to him. So that is mainly because of the X1. He is the person who is out of box thinking. He is the one who thinks the opposite way. And I'm also a left brainer and he's also a left brainer. Both of our prefrontal energies are high. I am influencing. Since my adaptiveness is high, I am quite influenced also, but his adaptiveness is low. He's truly influencing. And my multitasking is good. His multitasking is very good. Multitasking very good is that he will be able to handle even 4 tasks. So these are the areas where my homework has to be done. Being adaptive is very good, but at times being very flexible, being molded to what the world tells you is not the right decision. So I have to concentrate on my adaptiveness and then improve my body smart. Actually, I am running my own yoga and fitness, Zumba fitness classes also. I have a yoga trainer there. She usually guides me. So I'm working on my body smart also. Low AQ is the very major part I have to work on. I have attended a Ratnaswamy sir's session on AQ. So I know how important it is. So I am working on it. So thank you all for this wonderful session. And I'm very grateful for all which I've received till now, all the hard times, which has taught me so many lessons. My family, who has been so much cooperative every time, for all the accomplishments, which has made me into the person who I am right now. I'm grateful to the new ventures which we are into right now. I thanks my mentor, Mr. Bhupalan sir. He has guided me well throughout these studies. He has helped me. I was able to give more interest in this is because of his guidance also. I thank Ratnaswamy sir, who has also clarified my silly doubts at times. And thank everyone present here for spending your valuable time with me. And I like to conclude saying, peace is not the highest goal in life. It is the most fundamental requirement. When you are at peace, you will take very beautiful decisions in life. You can very well handle work and family together. So for attaining that peace, the key is the balance between mind, body, and soul. So having genetic brain profiling, we can have a very good balance with your mind and body. Balancing your soul is also highly essential. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Sindhu, for that wonderful presentation. Now I will invite the audience to give their feedbacks, and I'll also post the poll option so that everybody can give their feedback as well. Yeah, please go ahead. Anyone would like to unmute and give your feedback? Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, Bhavanaji.
Now, I'm so sorry. I think somebody else also started talking. I'll wait.
No, please go.
I must first congratulate Bhupalan. Very well guided, so clear, and at a very young age, she's a great achiever, achieved a lot, has tried out her hand in various things and has been successful. And it seems like genetic brain profiling is also one of her successes. Very well presented, very clear in her thinking and understanding. And imagine, sir, I think, like you said, the benchmark is becoming higher and higher for SD1 if her thought and her presentation is so clear. I wonder what others are going to do now. Very, very good. And I'm sure we have a big asset in our family now, especially she's running a school. So definitely I see GBP taking wings and flying now. All the best to you, Sindhu, Dinesh. Thank you so much for the lovely presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Bhavana.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Tejveerji.
Yeah, Sindhuji, excellent presentation. I have just given my self-discovery 3 very recently, but I'm wondering if this your self-discovery 1 was there, I would have presented it even better, learning from this. There are so many beautiful learnings from this. And the one metaphor which comes to me is there is a word called as tathastu. Yes. God has blessed you with it, and you are here to create a lot of good things.
Thank you.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Tejveer. Anyone else? Right. There are a lot of comments in the chat box, so you can go through it.
Sir, I would like to say something. This is Kritika here.
Yeah, please go.
Ms. Sindhu, that was one of the best presentations in recent times. I absolutely loved your visuals, your clarity in presenting your thought. You've achieved a lot in a young age, and it is really commendable. It's really commendable. Your understanding, and I was really glad to see that, you know, your husband with an X1 on the right frontal, that is able to, when you said that, you know, your relationship has improved, that's really wonderful understanding between the two of you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And I'm really glad to see the magic of GBP in you and in your family. My heartfelt wishes to you, for you to continue to keep succeeding, just like how you have done all this while.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot, Kritika.
Yeah, I think Gopalan wants to say something.
Yes, Sindhu.
Sir.
Collecting it. It was too good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So composed, and it was a fantastic delivery. And time you keep up exactly too good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It was awesome. So keep rocking. So you have a lot of potential within you. Just explore it.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Hi, this is Ashri Ranjani here. I'm new to your family, and I'm really new, and this is the first presentation I'm seeing, and seeing Sindhu right from the child. I've seen her like when she was in year 11, year 12, and seen her grow. Very proud of you, Speedy. It's such amazing self-discovery. Wants me to learn a bit more about this, and a huge congratulations to Dinesh too in supporting you in all this. It's without him it's different. So it's really good. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for attending.
Thank you, Sri Anjani. Yeah. Okay, so I think we are coming to the end of the session, and with concluding remarks, we can take a break for the day. And for me, yes, I did. There are many things which I'm able to recall, but I don't know how much I'll be able to remember in telling them. The first one is you have done it so fast and so early. I think that's another big achievement out of all those who did your last batch, pre-Spark program. You are the one to give your self-discovery one, and I think the credit goes to Gopalan for supporting you to do that. That's number one. And the number two is your brain design is so amazing that it has given you all that wonderful things that happened in your life, and also it is happening today, and it will continue to happen. And few of them are this is your first self-discovery, and you are very new to the family. I don't think anybody must have had a personal telephone call or interaction with you. It would have been very minimal, except for Suresh, who must have talked to you a little more frequently for administrative reasons and all. And and in the sessions you are quite vocal, and you did interact very well in the sessions, and that's where I did see your UID and got a feeling that an wonderful family member is going to join the network. And the second one is, as I said, you are very new, and today I just posted your today's session. I think the magnet in the right prefrontal with the right visual, which is what we call the influencer, and he's the peacock. So like a peacock, the post, if you look at the number of wishes that have happened today, it is amazingly high number. Usually everybody appreciates somebody's session today, all the best, all the best. But if you count these today's blessings, they are really on a higher side of the numbers. I think that is becoming because of the I very strong on the disc profile. This is what I continue to tell in every teaching session, that the I influencer is a magnet, and they attract people. They need not have to impress by saying very nice things and all. It is like this, this bagpiper kind of thing, where you blow your trumpet and people they are just become addicted to you. So that's a kind of magnetic power that you have, that comes from the affective personality enhancing the influencer. Because of the 90% affective personality, your influencer has got an influencer square as well there. So that's a big plus point there. And 41 individuals attending. Of course, there are some outside MiDNA family members as well. But even that is a sign of your strong I there in the society, in the workplace, wherever you are. So 41 members attending a self-discovery 1.0. I think it's a record in the MiDNA's history so far. So I congratulate on achieving that feat as well.
Thank you.
Now, now coming to some of the points that you said, I just want to just add on a few points related to that. One is yes, obviously you excellently portrayed what an emulative learning and imitative learning, and you also very honestly agreed that you are hiring someone for teaching your dance, because your spatial management is not very good, though you are able to visualize the space, but the moving in the space. For example, if you dance using the whole stage very elegantly and moving your body parts and showing the expressions very well, these are all certain challenges that could have been there. But obviously, a very high adaptiveness child can be made to present well by repeatedly practicing. And that is the bone of the right parietal. See, the advantage is, because parietal lobe is the servant of the family, a servant of the brain, it is obeying the outside external pushings and pressures and all. It just accepts it and goes ahead. That is the reason why the affective right parietal or the reflective right parietal is the most easiest compartment to get it worked up or get it improvised. So out of all the lobes, the right parietal is the only lobe, you can say, the most obedient servant, most obedient and adaptive servant. So you just put him an activity, he will just do it because there is no resistance. So that you have made use of it very well. And I'm sure the learning of the dance is something you do very well. The choreography you do very well. But maybe that putting that into real, in presenting that could be a little bit of challenge. This is something like you will see some of your students do excellently well in their performances than you, though you might have choreographed their dance movements, but their outcome, their presentations will be much, much bigger. Whatever you do, nurturing is always like going to a green trends and naturals to put your makeup on. It doesn't come as good as something naturally becomes somebody is naturally good looking kind of thing. So that's another point. And coming to your visual presentations, and I'm very happy that you with your basic 1.0 itself, you could connect that crossover of the right intuitive with the left sensory. That was really, really very nice. But I would say, because of this left sensory only, your pedagogical learning has been very, very good. Because you being a left sensory, it helps you to give your presentations, whether it is an exam or in any other place you have to talk to somebody. All that left sensory is helping you to give your best presentation. And with your right intuitive, you have been able to be very nice in understanding, grasping, and visualizing, and that also has helped. So I think that was a great crossover, and I think that's what is going to continuously help you to improve on. And your left intuitive is also quite good. So I think, except that running around kind of thing, which is obviously very important in life, if you can just work on it, as you have already mentioned, it will be a great opportunity. Because the tendency to just not get up from the chair and say, can you just do that? You have to get up and present it, show your performance, and thereby you can inspire people. I think that's the only homework in my opinion. Otherwise, it's a perfect 10 on 10 presentation. Just concluding,
yes,
the X1 in Dinesh right frontal has been overshadowed by the C3 on the right prefrontal, because the stronger the prefrontal, the lesser will be the impact of the frontal lobe. Had it been A1 and X1, it would have not been as good as C1 and X1. So the C1 is C3, or whatever it is, cognitive compartments of the right prefrontal, is so much having a bird's eye view of the whole requirement of the whole people and everybody around. And it doesn't find time to sit and spend some time with people just to pacify them, please them, just to make them feel good. So for him, it is the actions which are more important than sympathizing and pacifying. So instead of pacifying, he wants to show it in action, in something which is executed more on the solutions part of it. And that actually is a great skill, I would say. I think with age, the right frontal has less role in our life performance. It is very important during the age between 15 and 30, or maybe say 35. This is the age where the socializing has a bigger contribution in our life. I think once you cross 40 and all, then it is the right prefrontal that really comes into effect, because your brain has moved towards the prefrontal development, do something, take bigger projects, work on bigger cause, visualize something, take action. So this is the kind of need that people get beyond 40. I think currently he has cross over his little bit of challenges that comes, but still the impact of X1 will always remain. You cannot get away with it, but it will be overshadowed by the kind of work he does with his right prefrontal. So I would personally say X1 is in the corner of the room, just wanting to say that I am there, but it will find very difficult to get expressed, because with a strong C3, it will always find very difficult to come out and express itself. So it would be, for all practical purposes, everybody outside the family, outside the close proximity, will not even notice his X1 there, except that it is giving a lot of innovative ideas to perform, but it will not show it on the personal relationships and the areas where you are connecting with people and you get irritated and fire them. And the good news there is, because the sensory lobes are A1, all A1 there, it will not get expressed much. This is what is the beauty of X1 there. If your temporal lobe is cognitive, this X1 will be a challenge to stop firing on people. But now because it is X1 is getting irritated, but the irritation is not getting expressed in the sensory lobes, thereby it reduces the possibilities of people noticing the irritations or outbursts or firing and all. So firing, want to fire, but the firing is not all the time happening because of the C3 there. It reduces the power of the X1, and with an affective sensory lobes, it also reduces the power of expressing in the bodily outcomes of it. So I think it's a great learning for me as well today. And I think other than that, yes, D2 on the right prefrontal has certain challenges, but because you are connected with education, teaching, helping out people and humanities, the D2 definitely, will not really make a big challenge, because we don't make financial decisions and money transactions and investments and kind of thing we don't make on a daily basis. I think that actually safeguards or makes this D2 very less impactful. And also one more thing, because the D2 is there, which is up and down oscillating, it makes him to feel and also think. This also reduces the power of X1 in the right frontal, because when the X1 gets triggered, the left prefrontal D2 becomes the absorber, or it takes up all the power and the energy there and it absorbs. So I think D2 on the left prefrontal, C3 on the right prefrontal, and all the sensory lobes are affected. I think it's almost making the X1 very, very insignificant, I would say. But internally it will be felt, but it won't really come out externally. That's the message that we can take home from today's session, because 90% effective and 10% reflective definitely is a very simple report. All the compartments, all the results in the report will 100% match. There will not be any deviation. So higher the emulative learning, higher is the possibilities of the report matching with the client's experience. It will match exactly. That means if your emulative learning is 100%, your report will match to your personal experience 100%. Yes. And lesser the number, then you may have to go and connect this, that, and try to explain this means that. So somewhere it will indirectly get connected with some deeper understanding. It will connect by understanding the converging and diverging. It will connect, but it is not as simple. So 100% emulative is a y equal to mx plus c linear equation. The more and more stimulative comes, then it becomes a complex quadratic equation, and that is where the learning and counseling and interpreting and correlating with their life experiences becomes little more difficult. But I'm sure you will be a great communicator. All you need is an excellent mentor, and you can be a better mentor. Even you can be bettering your mentor also, because as you very rightly said, emulative learning people definitely enhance what they have learned. It is like the reflective people go without any makeup, and the emulative people have seen how people are doing makeup, and they do put their own makeup. Okay, so that is where I consider the emulative learning a very great learner. Very the minute you have somebody to support, guide you whenever you need it, I think you do very well. You did ask me one doubt, but it was, I know you knew it well, but you just made it sure. Yes, left brainer and the highly perceptive learner is a great combination, in my opinion. I think you don't come across this combination very well. A left brainer where the highest number is the perceptive aspect of the report, or the influencer. So left brain and an influencer is a very rare combination, and I think all that you attributed towards your achievements, that's coming because of the left brainer and an influencer. This is a very most powerful, I would say, combination for anyone to extract the best of themselves and present them in such a way that you win hands down. It is all that people would come, and this is what I say to conclude that in MiDNA, I'm sure you have a lot of handful of followers will be there because of the influencer, and with your left brain, you are going to rock your counseling work because you don't need a right parietal for counseling. So I think you'll do excellently well, and all the very best, and congratulations on successfully completing your counselor certification program as well. So all the very best. Go ahead and you are connected with children, and you should connect with schools. I think a great opportunity for you, and I wish all the very best to you, Sindhu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So with this, my dear friends,